Hi everyone, this is Procyon and I'll be covering the COVID-19 Universal Vaccination Program that India is now embarking on. And I think in the past, India has done exceedingly well in its past Universal Immunization programs, and it did about 26 million of infants and pregnant women, about 30 million, together about 50 million per year, and that's an amazing number. Very few countries of the world have actually fared that well. And India has the infrastructure of the cold chain, which is required for the vaccination program, which starts from the government medical stores and then the divisional stores, the district and the state stores, finally to the primary health centers and the community health centers, to the point which could be just booths where the final recipient would be getting the vaccine. So the full infrastructure with temperature controls, India has built over these years. But if you look at the vaccines that India has administered in the past, included the OPV, which is the oral polio vaccine, which requires very low temperatures, right up to -25 to -15 degrees centigrade. But apart from OPV, the other vaccines require a temperature cold storage, according to the World Health Organization, between +2 degrees to +8 degrees. And that's where the essential capability building has happened. If you look at this entire cold chain, which is essentially a supply chain with certain major constraints coming in form of temperature, and you require very specific temperature bands to be maintained across the entire chain, from the cold storage to the transportation points, the whole designing of this supply chain has to be done in a manner that you are able to maintain the temperature controls all through the chain on one hand, and you are also very efficiently allowing the passage and the flow of the vaccine from one stocking point to the other and finally to the recipient. So if I try to construct this entire supply chain puzzle, we have demand, which is aggregating at the receiving centers, which could be the booths, and from there the supply planning starts to the primary and the community health center, from there to the district, from there to the state, and finally to the divisional stores, right up to the 4 GMSDs that India has got. So if you look at this entire stocking point points in the supply chain, starting from the GMSDs, you have 4 GMSDs with 123 divisional stores to 39 state stores to about 644 district stores, from where about 25,000 or even more than that, the PHCs, which are primary health centers, and the community health centers are there to receive these inputs. And from there you will have to probably create a few 100,000 centers or booths where the final recipient will be moving to get the vaccine. Now, if you look at this entire supply chain, the key point of the puzzle is, of course, to ensure that supply meets demand at every stocking point, which is essentially, it would mean that not only at the cold storage point you are having the controls from temperature, the capability of refrigeration, the types of refrigeration that will be used, including if it is a very low temperature vaccine, it will require dry ice, for example, in huge proportions, and all that stuff which is related. And this also would mean that the transportation network has to be built so that you are also able to move the vaccine at low temperature without losing out or without having any wastage. So I think India is preparing well in this journey, and the puzzles, as they unravel, the solutions will emerge. But the area on which we would like to really focus on would be to see that we create a visibility, and that visibility can come at every stocking point if we are able to match demand with supply, and both the sides of the supply chain would be able to see in very clear terms, transparently, what exactly is the demand, what exactly is the supply. And from there, the essential and the most important part of the puzzle, which is logistics, can be planned in such a manner that there is no wastage in terms of the supplies and in terms of the capability to supply at the right temperature. Thank you.